Okay, so I'm here with AJ and Maury, who's effectively the filmmaker.
Yes.
Main actress from this wonderful film, Perfect World. She seems to be nominated at a festival in Milan. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
And you.
Hi.
Thank
Nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. Story, the synopsis, please.
The synopsis of the film is, well, it's about a woman that goes back to her boarding school to scatter her mother's ashes and is confronted by the daughter she aborted 16 years ago.
Right.
And she goes through all the memories from a box of memories that she buried in the grounds that the daughter has found. And she goes through all the memories and experiences till she gets to the final one, which is obviously what happened with her daughter.
Yeah.
And it's about two parallel worlds. So her daughter has been born in a parallel world and has found the link between the two worlds and has come back to confront her mother about what happened and why she did it, because she's pregnant herself and she's on her own and she doesn't know what to do.
Thank you, brilliantly explained. No, genuinely.
Okay, cool.
And your role in the film?
I play Susan. I play the lead in the film.
Yes.
So, as you can imagine from the synopsis and the story, it's fairly complex and there are a lot of intertwining stories. So, whilst we were filming, it was a lot of fun trying to decide which scene we were actually filming, because it was it the real one or the parallel world one? Yeah. So, but
I'm confused already.
Yeah,
and I've seen it now.
And also, even from the point of view that we had to shoot different sequences in different orders, and there was one day when we were shooting the scene after the crucifix, and you were like, "What's my motivation? What's happening here? I can't remember what's happening here." And I'm like, "You've just seen the cross. You're about to run down and go out the front door, and try and panic and get out of that place." So it was,
So it was literally like that most of the time. Which one? Which one? Oh, it's fine. I know where we're at. It's this one now. But once it's all together, obviously you're not aware of any of that, and it flows beautifully.
It kind of sounds a bit like guerrilla filming, really.
No,
I'm sure it wasn't. I know it wasn't, but you're making something.
We were the location that we shot in, the house. Yeah. We were there for the whole 8 days of the shoot. So everyone, the crew, and it was an interesting time because it was just after the Brexit vote.
Can we not talk about that?
We won't talk about it. Just mentioning
we're all
that
seriously
point.
Pissed off about it.
Just mentioning that point that we then all disappeared off the planet to this one location because we had very little Wi-Fi. No one could phone us there, and we made a film in the 8 days that we were there.
Off radar. It was rather beautiful, wasn't it? Just that time, and the location was
in the middle of
perfect.
Nowhere,
So how did you two come together? How did that? Was it like a simple? God, was it like a casting call, or was it? Did you know each other? How did it sort of work?
Very weirdly, because I was at Screen Academy doing my graduation MA film, and the cinematographer on that had worked with Maury just beforehand, and had basically cast Maury. And said to me, and sent Maury the details, and then Maury emailed me, and I was like, "Would you mind sending me your CV, please?" And then we met up, and then it turned out that I had a photograph of Maury from too many years previous. From
Let's not say
You're probably about 10 then.
yeah, very, very young.
From a barbecue that when I'd worked, because I come from a theatre background, I'd worked at the Bayer Theatre. And Maury had been at a barbecue on a show that I was working at. Right. And so we met up. It was like, we know it. And then suddenly it
so we
all
had
came out.
a prior history many, many years ago. But when I received the email from Sergio, I didn't realise that it was the same person. Right. And he'd said to me, "You'd be great for this role. I'd like you to meet the director." So when I then met the director, which is Mandy, she said, "You're not quite cast yet. You do know that, don't you?"
Because he basically told me that she was playing the part.
I know. But the more we chatted with each other, the more I understood her story, and we talked long about it. And then it came to a kind of natural process, didn't it? And we realised we had all this history, and everything kind of slotted into place. So,
and then when I came to do Perfect Worlds, I asked Maury if she'd come on board for that as well.
Right, okay, sorry, of course,
And so then she came on board for that as well.
Yeah.
And can we talk about the cinematography on this, because it's beautifully shot, isn't it? Is it this? I know you alluded to the cinematographer. Is it the same guy that? No. Talk to me. So how did that happen?
So originally, when we were shooting the film, originally in pre-production, we had a different cinematographer.
Right.
And that cinematographer had to leave because he got another job. because obviously with this it wasn't much pay in it, and he was going to a professional job. He went to work on the loch, I think it was. So I basically storyboarded all the shots and done all that, and Nick came in at the last minute. And his lighting in it is just absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Look at it, and so he came on board at the last minute, and very luckily he was a really great cinematographer. He's done a lot of commercial work. And yeah,
he had an incredible, unwavering patience.
Yeah.
And I said that to him when we were filming. I said, do you ever actually get cross or upset? Yeah. And he said, I do, but I haven't done this time because everyone seems to. It was really, it was a comfortable, friendly shoot, wasn't it? Everyone really.
Even though we had one day off, and because we were on the one location, the not cinematographers, but the camera crew all made dinner for all of us. Made a big Italian dinner for us all, didn't they?
We all hung out, so we couldn't really go far. There was not much.
No, so I think you, like you said, you're in the middle of nowhere, weren't you?
Yeah.
So
you went for a walk, I think. That was about it.
So you mentioned about the storyboarding. So my train of thought went then. You might be surprised that a lot of filmmakers, or not a lot, quite a proportion of filmmakers I speak to, if I ask the question, they don't storyboard, which seems amazing to me. But for the benefit of the viewers, can you explain? I kind of know why, because I've spoken to those filmmakers. Can you explain why and how it's so important? Any filmmaker really. Why it's so important to filmmaking?
It's really important. I mean, for me, I visualize everything anyhow, and I learnt on film. And when you're shooting on film, you have to shoot for the edit. So, which is a sort of Hitchcock way of filming things. So you storyboard everything, so you know where you're going to cut from one shot to another shot to another shot to another shot. A lot of people shoot multi-camera shots and just shoot and then give it to the editor. That's not the way I like to film. So I like to film for the storyboard, and I see cinematography as another way of telling stories. So there's a particular shot when Susan is down and her daughter Tara is standing up. And I wanted to shoot from down and then have the reverse shot looking down on Susan, so you have the power play there. So to me, the best way of doing that is to storyboard, so you can get the actual continuation, so you're almost making a comic book version of the film. And then everyone knows everything that needs to be done. And obviously on the day things change. I mean, there was one shot where because of time, we ran out of time for one of the shots, and young Millie, who was playing the little girl in it, couldn't be there for the afternoon.
Right.
And one of my inspirations for the cinematography was, I'll never say his name right, Giuliano, the Devil's Backbone.
Right, okay.
And
Del Toro, is
yes.
it? Yeah. He done Hellboy 2, didn't he?
Yes. So I watched The Devil's Backbone beforehand, and I said to Nick that some of the cinematography and that was my inspiration for some of the shots that I was looking at using for it, because obviously we hadn't had a big chat beforehand about what was happening with the shots. So I said to him, I don't know what to do with this. Take inspiration from that. So we didn't have young Millie, so the costume lady, before Millie went, did a newspaper cutout of Millie.
Yeah.
And Nick lit the shot where Susan chases Millie down the stairs.
Oh, you told me about this,
which is in the trailer. And we had Molly May hold the paper cutout, and he lit it so that the shadows would be on the wall, so it would look as if the two of them were there.
Yeah.
And then we had the camera shot going with Susan coming in, coming round, seeing the two of them disappear, or the shadow of them disappearing off, and then her running down the stairs afterwards. So it was,
So the cardboard cutout joined us most evenings for a glass of wine afterwards. It was only fair.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I bet that you're going to get the best chat from them, aren't you? The best, the best stories.
Yeah, it was ace.
Yeah, and she appeared in different places on the stairs.
She did. Over the place. Yeah, and it was fine for everyone else, but I had to keep a straight face.
So you could have actually, to keep it simple, you could say, take a room, which you storyboarded to have character A here, character B there, and some directors could say, yeah, that's what I want to do, we'll actually have 8 cameras, so you're going to, but you don't work that way, do you? No.
And from a time point of view as well, I mean, one of the things that also happened on the shoot was on the first 2 days when we're shooting the scene with the car coming in, it took so many times, because it's really hard when you want a spot where the car stops to get that. And we were doing a tracking shot that was watching the car coming in, stopping and then panning around and seeing the car disappearing. So for me, I like long continuous shots, and if it's from a theatre background, and if you're going to do that, then you really need to storyboard. So by day 3, we were looking at cutting shots. So I was literally going away and starting to eliminate any extra shots that I had that could go for the editor. So by day 5, it was getting to a point where we're actually going to have to, well, we would be losing storyboard story shots, and I had to say to the producer.
Were you panicking by then or not?
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't say panicking. That's the wrong word, but getting concerned. Yeah.
It was. Well, it was one of those conversations of saying, look, if we don't have these shots, we don't have a film.
Oh, well, so it was getting tight.
Yeah. So, and the bedroom scene with Maury and with Susan and Tara and young Susan in the bed, there were a lot of other shots that I wanted to do there. I wanted to have a shot of young Tara singing facially because her voice is beautiful.
Yeah.
And that didn't end up happening because I literally had to cut for the edit. So we were literally having, you'll say up to that point, then we'll turn the camera and shoot that shot, then shoot that shot. So a lot of people do just do lots of multi-camera shots, but for me, I storyboard everything, and then when you get to that situation, you know exactly what you need. You know how much you need to keep to make a film if you're ever running out of time, and also how much time you need afterwards to say that's what we need to get the film finished. So it's a skill. Yeah,
I mean, I spoke to cinematographer yesterday, Ozzy, who's representing a film that's in competition here, and he's done the whole of the Tudor series. He's worked with Don Siegel, done the Black Windmill. He's been involved with some major films, and he said he's done some work with Ridley Scott, and he said he's never worked on a film ever where they stuck to the storyboard. No. There's always compromises. No.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's...
But the storyboards is your ideal of what it is when you go into shooting.
Yeah.
And then things adjust, because we would never have got that shot if Millie hadn't have to go, and if we hadn't had to work out a situation, and we got a brilliant shot from it. So obviously you have your ideal of what the storyboard is, but then that's just the basis of what happens at the beginning of the film process.
Yeah, because the last scene we do is come away, put it all together and go, shit.
Yeah.
Because you just can't shoot as much as you can, I guess, and overcompensate. But so the end result, I guess, is pretty much how you wanted it all to be?
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the things that do change, like because we did have to cut shots. I mean, there's an opening shot where the car comes in and then we go to reverse, and that was never what was meant to be there. We ended up having to do that as a pickup, so we ended up having to have a handheld shot, and the whole of the film has no handheld shots, but the reason it ended up having to be a handheld POV shot was because the guy that was playing Daniel Campbell, who was playing the businessman, businessman stroke building manager, couldn't be there for that day. So we had to do a POV shot instead, and the only way we could do that was do a handheld shot. So there were compromises that had to be made. So it's not, there are things that I see in it and I go, that's not the way it was supposed to be. But it is what it is now. The changes that were made were what happened, but the majority of the storyboarding is still there.
So now you've done theatre as well, your background theatre. So let's imagine for a moment, I've walked in to see both, you've got £10 million, and I've said to you, you can only do theatre or cinema. Here's 10 million quid, which one are you going to choose? You
cinema,
have to choose one.
Every time.
Yeah?
Or cinema every time.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting, because it's a kind of 50-50 split when I ask people that.
Yeah, no, cinema. I've done, I mean, we trained at what was the RSAMD, which is now the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. Yeah. So I've done my training in stage management and acting, gone into theatre writing, directing. Always had a photographic background, and film is definitely where I would want to be.
So even if it was, I don't know, let's think, you were to run a prestigious theatre or make a film.
Make a film.
It'd be, and why?
Because I enjoy every single process. I enjoy the script writing side of it. I enjoy getting all the people together, collaborating with everyone on not using the actors, but getting inside the actors' head to find their motivation for what their characters and working with them and what's going on in that point of view. Right down to the editing of it. I mean, I can edit as well, but working with an editor on it as well. Yeah. Down to bringing in what the music, every single layer of element. I love doing that. The only thing I would do, not with 10 million, I'd love to perform. That's a completely different thing, and in performance, live stage, definitely.
Because I would imagine that the flip side of that is that, and I understand totally where you're coming from, of course, and there's no right or wrong answer, it's just what I'd ask it is, the beauty of theatre is it's all in the here and now, and you've got to do an hour, 2 hours, whatever, and you have to do it, don't you?
Yeah. I find it very, very difficult to compare the two.
Well, I know they're completely different.
But for me as an actor, what you just asked me, I would choose cinema. At this point in my career, and this point in my life, I would choose cinema. But I couldn't ever possibly compare what I get from both, because it is entirely different from performance in theatre to the short bursts in film. Because it demands something completely different from the actor every time, but both equally something.
I suppose the beauty of cinema is if you fuck up, it doesn't matter, does it?
They just scrub it, so the pressures are entirely different, but...
On the other side of that, I would, if you give me 10 million, I would shoot on film, because shooting on film is the nearest experience you can get in making a film to theatre. Because we shot date night on film, and the thing that's amazing about that is you rehearse and rehearse and rehearse every single shot, because every single shot is a money shot, and it costs.
I like that.
But your crew work.
It's brought a whole new slant to those two words.
It's the money shot, and then we had to be one-take actors.
Yeah, one take, one shot, wonders.
Yeah.
Because it's that thing of you get the whole crew around you, and there's nothing like the sound of the camera, actual ticking of the camera.
But why would you pressurise that when you've got cameras like Reds now, and you can get the whole? Let's be honest, you can get the. But you can look. You can get the film look, can't you?
Yeah, but it's not about the film look.
Oh, I see.
It's about the fact.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you when I was.
I suppose it's a pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Everyone has. When I was at Screen Academy, which was the first time I ever shot on film, we had to do a long take, and we had to have a jib shot in it as well. So we planned this shot and planned it and I planned the shot. And the shot was that the teacher was wiping a board, the parents came in, she was to turn around, the camera tracked back as the parents came forward, the camera then followed them, teacher sat down, turned over a piece of paper, it jibbed up, looked at the piece of paper, and the two parents' heads come in. That was the planned shot.
In one shot?
In one shot, one take, one shot. And on the board was the title of the film.
Right, okay.
So we rehearsed it, and the actress imagined wiping the board, and we did the tracking back, and we rehearsed it, and we rehearsed it, and we rehearsed it, and we rehearsed it, and we rehearsed it. And then she thought we went for a take, and we didn't, and she wiped the board. And we were like, shit, that took about, excuse my language, about an hour to actually write that on the board, because it was a whiteboard and it was all done. So we had to rehearse again while she did that again and did it again and did it again.
Now, if you've had a digital camera,
but
it's not the same now. I know where you're coming from.
But when we came to do it again, she didn't wipe the board this time, and we were going for a take, so we had to start again. And then we went to do the take, and everyone was so focused, and you could literally feel everyone doing their job and going back and doing everything, and then when it came to the end and cut, and we got it. Everyone is so focused. When you've got digital, everyone is just, we can do it again and relaxed.
That's when it feels like theatre.
Yeah, that's the difference. Yeah. So if I could, I would always shoot on film, because you get that, and there's a aliveness that happens shooting on film that doesn't happen in digital.
That's it. 20 minutes.
Okay.
Can you believe it?
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you very much. Stay there for a moment.
Thank you.
On one side is a picture of me, and the other side you. See? 2 peas in a pod. My little sweet pea.